Did you know that over 100,000 people quietly left Canada last year? And that number is only rising? Some are calling it a silent exodus. Families, students, and even working professionals are packing up and walking away from the so-called Canadian dream. And the most surprising part? Many aren't even looking back. What's really going on? Is it just about the cold winters? Or is there something deeper happening beneath the surface? From soaring grocery bills to a healthcare system that's buckling under pressure, more and more Canadians are reaching a breaking point. They're swapping snowstorms for sunsets and high taxes for high hopes in other parts of the world. But that's only the beginning. In this video, we're breaking down the real reasons thousands are leaving Canada before 2026, and some of them might just shock you. If you think it can happen to you, think again. You'll want to watch this to the end. Number 1. Cost of living crisis. It's no secret. Life in Canada is becoming painfully expensive, and it's hitting people where it hurts the most, their wallets. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, rent prices have skyrocketed, with even basic one-bedroom apartments costing upwards of $2,500 a month. Groceries? Up by nearly 20% since 2021. Gas, utilities, daycare, all climbing at a pace faster than wages. For many, it's starting to feel like Canada is no longer affordable for the average person, and that's forcing people to ask a tough question. Why struggle here when I can live comfortably somewhere else? More and more Canadians are realizing that their paychecks just don't stretch the way they used to. A 2025 survey from Angus Reid showed that over half of working Canadians are living paycheck to paycheck, with little to no savings for emergencies. And it's not just low-income households anymore. Middle-class families are now making impossible decisions, cutting back on essentials, working multiple jobs, or delaying major life events like marriage and children. With basic necessities becoming luxuries, people are exploring alternatives, including relocating to countries where the cost of living is lower but the quality of life is higher. This isn't just about money, it's about mental pressure and quality of life. People are burned out, stressed, and fed up with barely surviving in a country that was once seen as a land of opportunity. Instead of working 60-hour weeks just to make ends meet, some are moving abroad and discovering they can live comfortably, even save, with half the effort. That realization is powerful, and it's driving thousands to seriously consider leaving. The cost of staying is beginning to outweigh the cost of leaving, and for many Canadians, that shift is the tipping point. Number 2. The housing trap. For years, buying a home in Canada was considered a symbol of stability and success. But now, it feels more like an impossible dream. In major cities like Vancouver and Toronto, the average home price has soared past $1.1 million, putting ownership completely out of reach for most young Canadians. Even smaller cities and rural towns aren't immune. Prices have jumped everywhere, and even renting has become a burden. For many, it no longer feels like they're building a future. It feels like they're trapped in a system designed to keep them chasing something they'll never catch. This housing crisis isn't just about the price tag. It's also about the emotional weight that comes with feeling stuck. Imagine working hard, saving for years, only to realize that no matter how disciplined you are, the market keeps running ahead of you. Some are living with parents well into their 30s. Others are spending over half their income just to keep a roof over their heads. It's not just unsustainable, it's disheartening. And it's leading many to ask, why am I doing this here, when I could own a home and have peace of mind somewhere else? Countries like Portugal, Mexico, and even parts of Eastern Europe are seeing an influx of Canadian expats for one simple reason: you can actually afford to live there. With remote work becoming more accepted, people are no longer tied to one location. They're realizing they can buy a home abroad for a fraction of the cost, often in communities with warmer weather, vibrant cultures, and lower day-to-day expenses. When people weigh the options, stressful renting in Canada versus comfortable ownership overseas, the answer becomes clear. For many Canadians, leaving is no longer about giving up, it's about finally moving forward. Number 3. Crushing tax burden. One of the biggest frustrations quietly pushing Canadians out of the country is the overwhelming tax load, and it's not just the wealthy feeling it. From income tax and sales tax to property tax and hidden fees, The average Canadian is giving up a huge portion of their earnings every single year. In some provinces, the combined federal and provincial tax rate can eat up more than 50% of your income once you factor in additional costs like CPP, EI, and carbon taxes. And with inflation already shrinking people's purchasing power, the weight of taxation is becoming too much to bear. People are starting to compare what they pay in taxes to what they actually get in return. And for many, the math doesn't add up. Long wait times in healthcare, unaffordable housing, and infrastructure that's fallen behind leave many wondering, where is all this money going? Meanwhile, countries with lower tax rates and higher returns on public services are becoming more attractive. Places like the United Arab Emirates, Panama, or even certain U.S. states like Texas and Florida are drawing in skilled Canadians who are simply tired of watching half their income vanish every year. It's not just about money, it's about value and freedom. Canadians are realizing that their hard work is being taxed at every corner, and they're not seeing the benefits they once believed in. Digital nomads, entrepreneurs, and professionals alike are choosing to build their lives in tax-friendlier environments, where they can keep more of what they earn and invest in their future. As global mobility increases and financial literacy spreads, people are waking up to the reality that staying in Canada might be costing them far more than they think. And that realization is driving a quiet, but steady exit. Number 4. Healthcare delays. Canada's healthcare system is often praised for being universal and accessible, but behind the praise lies a growing crisis that's pushing many Canadians to their breaking point. Long wait times, overcrowded emergency rooms, and a severe shortage of doctors and specialists are turning what should be a reassuring public service into a source of constant stress. In 2025 alone, some patients reported waiting over 6 months just to see a specialist. Surgeries are being delayed, mental health services are stretched thin, and even getting a simple family doctor appointment can feel like winning the lottery. While healthcare is technically free, many Canadians are realizing that free doesn't always mean functional. A recent national survey revealed that a growing number of people are now paying out of pocket for private services or traveling abroad for faster treatment. Medical tourism to countries like Thailand, Mexico, and even the United States is on the rise, because for some, it's easier to fly across the world than wait half a year at home. The frustration is mounting, especially among working professionals and aging populations who can't afford to wait when their health is on the line. This isn't just a system flaw, it's a quality of life issue. When access to timely care becomes uncertain, people start reevaluating everything. What's the point of high taxes if you can't get help when you truly need it? Why stay in a place where you feel like a number in a system, rather than a person with urgent needs? For many, leaving Canada isn't about abandoning the country. It's about choosing health, peace of mind, and control over their own well-being. And as this issue worsens year by year, more Canadians are deciding that waiting isn't worth it anymore. Number 5. Harsh winters and mental health. For many Canadians, the weather isn't just inconvenient, it's depressing. Brutal winters with freezing temperatures, limited sunlight, and endless gray skies are more than just a seasonal annoyance. They're taking a serious toll on mental health. In provinces like Alberta, Ontario, and Quebec, temperatures regularly drop below -30 degrees Celsius, and daylight can vanish before 4 p.m. This extended darkness and cold isn't just uncomfortable, it's biologically damaging. Studies show that seasonal affective disorder, SAD, affects more than 2 million Canadians each year, leading to symptoms like low energy, mood swings, and even clinical depression. People may joke about the cold, but behind the humor is real psychological strain. Winter lasts nearly half the year in many parts of Canada, and the physical isolation it brings, combined with skyrocketing heating bills and poor outdoor mobility, creates a mental environment that wears people down. Many report feeling stuck, drained, and emotionally exhausted for months on end. While some invest in expensive therapy lights or winter getaways, others have simply decided to escape permanently, choosing to relocate to sunnier, warmer places where year-round sunlight helps support better mental health. And it's not just retirees or snowbirds making this move. More young people and remote workers are prioritizing mental well-being and quality of life over tradition. Countries with mild climates like Portugal, Spain, Costa Rica, and parts of Southeast Asia are becoming top destinations for those chasing not just warmth, but emotional balance. When you compare 6 months of snow and struggle to waking up with sunlight and fresh air every day, the choice becomes clear. For many Canadians, leaving the cold is about reclaiming their happiness, and that's something no amount of winter clothing can fix. Before we dive deeper, take a second to drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to know if you see yourself staying in Canada or starting fresh somewhere else. And if you're finding value in this video, hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it helps us keep creating content that truly matters. Number 6. Fewer job opportunities. While Canada has long been seen as a land of opportunity, many Canadians are now facing a harsh new reality: fewer quality jobs and limited upward mobility, especially for younger generations and recent graduates. The job market is tightening, and high-paying positions are becoming harder to find outside of a few saturated industries. Even those with degrees and experience are often forced into underemployment, juggling part-time or contract work with little to no benefits. For many, it's become frustratingly clear: working hard no longer guarantees stability or progress. This problem hits even harder when compared to what's available abroad. Countries like Germany, Australia, and the Netherlands are investing heavily in sectors like renewable energy, tech, and healthcare, creating a wider range of well-paying jobs with better work-life balance. Meanwhile, Canada's job growth is lagging behind, with many industries still recovering from post-pandemic disruption. And as remote work becomes more mainstream, Canadians are realizing they can earn a global income without being tied to one country, especially if that country is offering fewer opportunities and higher costs. The emotional impact of feeling stuck in a dead-end job or constantly being passed over due to a saturated market is exhausting. Skilled professionals and young talent are leaving in search of fair pay, better opportunities, and career growth. For them, it's not just about earning more, it's about being valued, challenged, and given the room to grow. And as other countries roll out the red carpet for international talent, Canada's brightest minds are increasingly looking elsewhere. If Canada can't offer a future worth staying for, people will find one somewhere else. And that's exactly what's happening, one resume at a time. Number 7. Growing social and political tensions. Canada has long been known for its peaceful image, but beneath that calm surface, there's a noticeable rise in division, frustration, and distrust. Over the past few years, political polarization has deepened across the country, with growing tension between provinces, ideologies, and even neighbors. Protests have become more frequent. Public debates are more hostile. And across social media, Canadians are finding themselves in echo chambers that only reinforce anger and disconnection. This isn't just political disagreement, it's social fatigue, and it's causing many to quietly step away and seek peace elsewhere. What's particularly troubling is the growing sense that institutions are no longer working for the people. Whether it's the federal government, healthcare leadership, housing regulators, or school boards, trust is declining. A recent poll by Angus Reid showed that less than 30% of Canadians have strong faith in political leadership. Add to that increasing concerns about censorship, freedom of expression, and cultural clashes, and many feel like they no longer recognize the country they once proudly called home. These issues aren't just abstract. They affect daily life, relationships, and the overall feeling of safety and stability. As a result, more Canadians are choosing to leave not just for financial reasons, but for emotional and psychological ones. They're looking for countries where the social climate feels calmer, where people feel more united, and where day-to-day life isn't filled with tension. Whether it's the perception of more freedom, stronger community ties, or simply less noise, the appeal of starting fresh in a less divided society is growing. For many, leaving Canada isn't an act of betrayal. It's a way to protect their peace, raise their children in a calmer environment, and feel hopeful about the future again. Number 8. Cultural shifts and disconnection. Canada has always been a diverse nation, built on immigration and multiculturalism. But recently, many longtime residents have begun to feel a growing sense of cultural disconnection. As cities expand rapidly and demographics shift, some Canadians say they no longer feel a strong sense of community or shared identity. This isn't about intolerance, it's about belonging. When neighborhoods change too quickly and familiar customs fade, it can create a quiet feeling of displacement, even for those born and raised here. That emotional distance is now becoming a real reason why some are choosing to leave. Immigration is essential to Canada's growth, but the pace and scale of recent changes have strained infrastructure and deepened competition for housing, jobs, and public services. In some areas, newcomers and locals alike are struggling to integrate, and that lack of cohesion is creating frustration on both sides. Public discourse has become tense, and people are increasingly afraid to speak openly about these issues. Instead of feeling united, many feel isolated, caught between supporting diversity and feeling left out of their own communities. For some, moving abroad isn't about escaping diversity, it's about finding a place where they feel grounded again. Whether it's returning to a simpler lifestyle in a smaller country or joining expat communities where cultures blend more naturally, Canadians are searching for belonging in ways that feel authentic to them. Others are moving to places where their language, values, or traditions are more aligned with daily life. It's not about running away, it's about rebuilding connection. When home no longer feels like home, it's only natural to look elsewhere, and that's exactly what thousands of Canadians are quietly doing before 2026. Number 9. Better lifestyle abroad. More and more Canadians are discovering that life outside the country doesn't just offer financial advantages, it offers a completely different way of living, and in many cases, a better one. In countries like Portugal, Spain, Costa Rica, and New Zealand, people are embracing a slower, more balanced lifestyle where work doesn't dominate every hour of the day. The concept of work to live instead of live to work is becoming increasingly appealing. When Canadians experience this difference, shorter workdays, longer lunches, more vacation time, it changes their entire perspective on what life can and should feel like. The stress of urban life in Canada, combined with harsh winters, rising costs, and overwhelming schedules, has left many people feeling burned out and disconnected. In contrast, lifestyle-friendly countries place greater emphasis on leisure, family time, and community. The healthcare may be simpler, the rent cheaper, and the weather better, but what really hooks people is how daily life feels lighter. Imagine finishing your workday while the sun is still shining, walking to a local market, and spending your evening in a vibrant plaza or by the beach. For many, it's not a fantasy, it's their new normal. This shift in mindset is especially common among digital nomads, young families, and retirees who are choosing places that prioritize well-being over hustle culture. And with remote work becoming more accepted globally, the barriers to this lifestyle are lower than ever. Canadians who make the move often say they feel more alive, more present, and more in control of their time. It's not that they didn't love Canada, it's that they found a version of life that suits them better. And once they experience it, going back just doesn't make sense anymore. Number 10. The dream has changed. For decades, the idea of the Canadian dream meant security, opportunity, and a peaceful place to build a future. But for a growing number of people, that dream no longer matches reality. Rising costs, stagnant wages, political division, and a general feeling of instability have made many question what they're working so hard for. The dream that once felt so promising now feels outdated, exhausting, and increasingly unattainable. And with the world more connected than ever, people are starting to realize that maybe their dream isn't tied to a single country anymore. Today's generation values freedom, flexibility, and meaningful experiences more than owning property or climbing the corporate ladder. People are designing their lives around travel, remote work, minimalism, and emotional wellness. They're no longer willing to trade their mental health and personal time for a lifestyle that feels like constant survival. Instead of trying to force an outdated version of success to work, they're creating new paths, ones that often lead far beyond Canada's borders. Leaving Canada doesn't mean giving up. It means redefining what success and happiness really look like. For some, that means moving to a quiet beach town with affordable living. For others, it's joining a global community of remote workers in cities that embrace innovation and culture. The dream hasn't died, it's evolved, and thousands of Canadians are waking up to that truth. They're not running away from failure, they're running toward a life that finally makes sense to them. As 2026 approaches, the shift in mindset is only gaining momentum, and it may be just the beginning of a much bigger movement. As more and more Canadians quietly make the choice to leave, it's clear that this isn't just a passing trend. It's a reflection of deeper issues reshaping the country. Whether it's the crushing cost of living, a healthcare system in crisis, or simply the desire for a better life abroad, thousands are asking the same question: is staying really worth it anymore? And the answers are leading people down roads they never imagined, roads that often lead out of Canada entirely. But this conversation isn't about fear, it's about awareness. It's about understanding the silent struggles many are facing and opening up the possibility that there may be better options, new opportunities, and healthier lifestyles elsewhere. If nothing else, it's a reminder that you deserve to live somewhere that supports your goals, your peace of mind, and your future. And maybe, just maybe, that place is waiting for you beyond the border. Now we want to hear from you. Are you thinking about leaving Canada? Have you already made the move? Or are you staying and fighting for change? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. We also just released a powerful video about where Canadians are moving to in 2026, so make sure to check that out next. It might just open your eyes. And if you found this video valuable, please support us by subscribing. We put a huge amount of time, research, and care into every video we make. It's just one click for you, but it means the world to us.